My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to WTA Weekly. It's a big event. There's a lot of things that we need to process going on. There's going to be some number crunching to happening during this week as we work out who's going to be qualifying from the groups. So I think it's only best that we got the finest, I dare say, tennis mind that we have access to, which is Vanch Vermani. Vanch, how you doing?
Thanks a lot for the compliment, but yeah, it's exciting. WTA Finals. This is what they all play for at the start of the year.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, apologies to the Damien Kust fans who might be in the chat. So let's go. So WTA Finals preview, and this is an interesting one because when we usually do like big draw previews, and we go through the draw and we look through sort of things to look forward to. We look at like first round matches we're excited about. We will have we've got a few other things in there. We've got like trying to project people's draw progress. This is a bit different where we're trying to work out two people that are going to get out of group, like two people to get out of each group. And we know what all the matches are going to be. So I think we should just take this on a sort of match by match basis and then see if we can work out, how we think the groups are going to go. And then we can kind of get a semi and a final prediction. Sound good, Vanch?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. Fantastic. So obviously our views on how the group matches might go may well change depending on we see how they go. For example, I think our first group match that is happening tomorrow will be Iga Swiatek against Madison Keys. I have a very strong idea of where that's going to go. If it doesn't go that way, that's going to completely upend how the rest of the group's going to go. So why don't we start with the Serena Williams group, given that this is the first one to get played. First match on Saturday, the 1st of November, will be Iga Swiatek against Madison Keys, and Amanda Anisimova will play Elena Rybakina in the second match, which is interesting because I thought it would be more like a 1v3 rather than a 1v4 to start. But I guess these 8 players are just so strong that I don't think it matters so much. I guess before we kind of get into it, actually, Vanch, I mean, on paper, pretty much anyone can win this tournament, right?
It seems that way. I mean, it feels like the way the groups shook out, we're going to get some first-time matchups. So I'm looking forward to that because Anisimova Anisimova has never played Rybakina and she's never played Keys.
Oh.
So we have pretty much no data on those matchups, which makes it very enticing. And then the way the other group shook out, it's kind of it's kind of the 3 players that I would say are the least ball bashing, and then you have Sabalenka. So it's kind of, and then here you have all the big hitters, and then you have Iga.
Imagine what the groups would have been like if you'd swapped Sabalenka and Swiatek. Like you'd have almost the 2 sides of the WTA, and then it's going to be the 2 best of those types of players playing each other for the title.
Yeah, it's funny how that shook out. But obviously, Sabalenka Coco should be an amazing contrast, as we've seen. Like that's maybe the matchup that I'm probably the most keen on just seeing, just because of the that's where you get the most heavy contrast, I think. But but just back to this group. Obviously you have Iga and Amanda and their history this year with Wimbledon and US Open and them splitting their 2 matches there, and Anisimova, avenging the double bagel and all that. So that's an interesting storyline. But then, Rybakina and Anisimova and Rybakina and Anisimova and Keys, those are two matches that really could either go either way. I mean, Keys is such a big wild card because we know she hasn't played at all since the US Open. And obviously her season is kind of cooled off with the first round loss and then a bunch of injuries. So she hasn't played the Asian swing. So that could either be really good in terms of the way that like she could be super well rested, or we could just see her come out kind of very rusty and not 100% physically. I hope it's the former instead of the latter, but that makes her a very interesting wild card because I kind of don't know what to expect with Keys.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. She's kind of a little bit more of the most unknown factor in this for the reasons you've laid out. I would lean more towards her being fit but rusty is probably where I'm going to go with. And actually, if you're going to come into a WTA Finals rusty, that's not ideal. I mean, look at Iga last year, came in not having played since the US Open. Just about didn't get out of the groups, but maybe it was just a little bit unfortunate in how that came about. But I would say this is definitely not a tournament you want to turn up to without some kind of match confidence under your belt, unlike some of the others that are going to be here.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess if I were to kind of look at this, I mean, Amanda is the one to me that's, with her form in Beijing and Wuhan, and of course the way she's played all the top players this year, I am feeling kind of confident in terms of picking her to the semis, just based on what she's shown in the big events and the big matches this year. I'm tempted to pick her more than Keys, who I think I'm just not very sold on. Like maybe she plays really well against Iga in the first match, and then things are very different. But and obviously Rybakina is an interesting one because she does have, Rybakina and Iga this year, like their rivalry has shifted a little bit, where Iga has found a lot more success playing against those type of players, and I think she's cracked the Rybakina code a little bit, like beating her 4 times this year. Even though the matches haven't been straightforward, they've been pretty closely fought. But I just think that's a matchup that actually Iga is feeling a lot more confident in than she was a year or two ago.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think we're kind of getting into starting to get into sort of how things work out here. I'm just double checking something. Yeah, so I think we'll kind of do the progress of the groups, but I think just to maybe give a bit of a spoiler then, based on what you've been saying, you're not expecting an all-US lockout for the semifinals.
No, but I mean, it would be. I mean, the probability that we get 2, I think, is pretty high of the 4. Yeah. Like, I think that's pretty high. But having all 4 would be like throwback to like early 2000s. But
or the late 80s.
Yeah, like I think this is the first time since 2002 that we have 4 Americans out of the 8, and that year was Capriati and Selic and the Williams sisters. So you have to go back a long time for that kind of
almost a generation of tennis fans would never have seen that. Okay, so let's get. Yeah. Go on, sorry, Ranj.
No, I was gonna try to figure out how to kind of, choose who's making the semis.
Well, tell you what, we'll do it this way. We're going to work through match by match. So
sure.
Let's start with Serena Williams group, and the first match, which will open the WTA Finals tomorrow, which will be at 6 p.m. Riyadh time, which is 3 p.m. UK, which would make it. I don't think clocks have shifted. Yeah, the clocks haven't shifted in the US, so it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
So just in time for you to wake up to Vanch on the Saturday.
Yeah, it's a perfect time zone for me, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see why. Definitely for when the finals. Well, the finals are going to be a bit later in the day. I think the finals are going to be at like a couple of hours later. But yeah, so first match of the day will be Iga Swiatek against Madison Keys. So, Vanch, I don't think these two have played since their epic Australian Open semi-final.
No, actually, they did play. They played in Madrid, remember? And
yes, Iga they did. Avenged it. It was
Yeah, and she got bageled in the first set, but then came back and ended up winning.
Yeah, there was a reason why I didn't remember that match. Anyway. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's a 5-2 head-to-head. Obviously, the two keys wins being the Australian Open semifinal this year, where she saved a match point, and then that was, you know, the back-to-back the best matches Keys has ever played in her life. Swiatek and Sabalenka, and then I think the previous Keys win was Cincinnati 2022, but the rest of the time, mostly Iga has been able to kind of, you know, draw rallies out, force a lot of errors, expose Keys's movement in terms of, you know, just Iga being able to get her moving side to side a bit easier, taking control with her heavy spin. Like it's been a good matchup for her in that sense. Obviously, the new type of Keys just plays with a lot more freedom and is just much more, you know, gets a lot more out of her serve and her forehand, and is just way more, you know, there's less riding on every match that she plays. Whereas before it was like, you know, I gotta win a major, and there was that pressure kind of in her system. But I do wonder if, you know, these conditions, I think these conditions indoors, it's going to be easier for her to play like kind of bang tennis. But I think with the first match coming against Iga, like that just makes it really hard for Keys, because she's not going to be able to sort of just get a normal ball to work with over and over again if you haven't played matches in a couple of months. Like if Iga was her second or third match, I think I might like her chances a bit better to either like take a set or win. But I think because she's playing Iga right off the bat, that makes me lean towards Iga more in this matchup.
I would agree with that assessment. This is almost the worst possible first match back after a long break from Addison Keys.
Right.
Rivalry-wise, like she would have I mean, I don't know if she'd have preferred to play Anisimova, but with no data, you're feeling a bit better about it. Iga, you're right, has had the measure in the matches up to this point. Keys is rusty. Iga, okay, hasn't played since Wuhan and hasn't had an amazing Asian swing, but you know, Iga playing a rusty Keys is probably her ideal starting point rather than playing, say, Rybakina.
Yep.
So, I think, yeah, I'm leaning Iga for this one as well. But talking about the conditions, though, you mentioned obviously indoors might help Keys. I don't remember Riyadh being fast in the same sort of way as we would have seen Cincinnati or Australia, which are on the faster end of tennis courts that we get now, which is where Keys beat Swiatek.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's as fast as Australia. I think it's more medium pace, but it does take the bounce pretty well. So I think that's good. That's going to help. It's going to help both of them, actually. I don't think that's much of a huge edge for either, if that makes sense. Like, I definitely remember Coco benefiting quite a bit from, you know, the height and the higher loopier shots last year. So it does seem to take the bounce pretty well, and it does seem to be a medium pace type court from what I gather.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember that. And I guess that will fall well into. Well, I don't think pace bothers Iga so much in the same way as it used to. But sort of medium pace.
We have seen her this year drop back a little bit in terms of, you know, on the return, but also in rallies, and just kind of relying a bit more on athleticism and defense in those matchups. Like she has figured that out a little bit better with those type of players. So that does make it tougher, I think, for Keys right off the bat.
Okay.
First match.
And then so we're saying Iga favorite for the first match of the day, first match of the tournament, and the second match will follow straight away.
Yeah, just one more thing also, because it's round robin, like every single game and every single set is important. So
yes,
if Keys does manage to play a close set or win a set but lose, that could still end up being very valuable for her later.
We might need to work out the permutations of that when we get to who's getting out the groups. So Amanda Anisimova and Aryna Sabalenka is the next one. And as you alluded to at the start of the show, Vanch, we have no data on this rivalry. They have never played. And they're both coming in pretty good form. And Anisimova is on a winning streak because she played Beijing, won it, didn't play Wuhan, came and is coming off the back of feeling very confident. Rybakina is also on a winning streak, having won Ningbo and got to the semi-finals of Tokyo and then pulled out. So I don't know whether Rybakina's rested enough. I don't know whether Anisimova's had too much rest, but both are going to be feeling very confident right now. And I think this one could be an absolute blockbuster, and I've no idea which way this one's going to go. I might have a gut instinct based on the season, but what do you think, Vanch?
Yeah, I think this is one of those matches that's really just. I think this might be a 3-setter, like just right off the bat, because there is, if both of them can play well at the same time, it has the potential to be a really high quality match. But because they're both kind of first strike players, they like to take the racket out of your hand in the first 2 or 3 shots. If one person isn't having the best service rhythm early on, then it's going to be really tough to, get their teeth into the match. So I think it's one of those that'll just be a little bit of a roller coaster up and down, both players trying to feel each other out. As for the patterns, I think Amanda's probably going to change directions down the line a bit faster than Rybakina will, just because Rybakina is much more the type of player who will just play very consistent, hard cross-court shots, and then won't really take the opening unless it's there for her. Whereas Amanda will take a few more risks, and she I think is willing to redline quite a bit more, and we have seen her kind of take middling backhands and forehands and just smother them in corners and get insane pace and timing, and if she's able to do that and keep Rybakina moving like the way she has at the US Open when she was playing Naomi, or the other matches against Iga, and the matches she's done against Aryna, what I'm trying to say is she absorbs that pace really well and she knocks it back with interest. So I do wonder if Rybakina will have to play a little bit out of her comfort zone in this one. Just if Anisimova is on fire and controlling a lot of the points. So I can kind of imagine some of the rallies in my mind, but it's because we haven't seen it and because there's a lot of unknown. I think I'll just predict that it'll go 3, and maybe with the season that Amanda's have, maybe I'd give her a slight edge, but not by much.
Does Rybakina's rival with Sabalenka give a little bit of an insight into how this one might go? Try to give her a bit of hope for Elena fans, because it's only recently that Sabalenka beat her for the first time in straight sets, but up to that point, like, Rybakina's been a real problem for her. Or does Amanda play a little bit too differently to Aryna?
No, I would say Aryna obviously plays a little bit heavier. Like on her ground strokes, she definitely has a bit more spin, and she usually will try to. She also plays. They both play just first strike tennis, but I think Rybakina is just able to off the return hurt Sabalenka in a way that not many players are. And because she's tall and the kick serve doesn't bother her as much, she can kind of take it early, especially on the backhand, and just kind of rush Sabalenka immediately on the first shot after the serve. And that's been kind of the big difference. Like, Sabalenka struggles to win second serve points when she plays against Rybakina, and Rybakina is in that kind of zone because she is one of the best like first strike serve and return players on the tours, obviously. And then with the serve, it's just very hard for Sabalenka to get it back to neutral. So that's been tough. But so I do think that Amanda protecting her second serve, that's going to be the biggest thing, because that's where I could see Rybakina really making a lot of hay and potentially winning a 6-2 or 6-3 type set and just having all the momentum. But I do wonder about Rybakina in the clutch moments this year, because we have seen her, for instance, over the summer, not close out some matches against Fernandez and Mboko and get herself in those tight situations. Because Amanda is definitely one of those players that can go on those streaks. Like, she can have those lulls in matches and just kind of win one set 6-2, lose the next 2-6, just regroup. Like, she does go hot and cold a lot more, and so she doesn't give you a whole lot of rhythm when it comes to like a stable level throughout the whole match. Whereas Rybakina is much more, you know what you're getting. So I do kind of wonder how that will ebb and flow when this match starts, because like just winning an easy set but losing the match could end up being very valuable later.
Yeah, I can see that. I would agree with you. I think based on the season, Amanda Anisimova has the better track record of playing the best tennis when it matters. And so with that in mind, I would say that I would agree with you on Anisimova winning this one, and being the favourite to win this one. Rebecca's going to make it a fight. I agree with you. It could see it being 3. But yeah, Amanda has to be the favourite unless that she doesn't get hot for long enough and Rybakina takes advantage, or she struggles with being put on the back foot by Rybakina, which I don't see her doing because she will adjust and fight back and just sort of stand her ground. So I'm going to go with Anisimova as well to win this one. So we go. First 2 matches of this group, winners Swiatek and Anisimova, which means that they would then play each other in the second lot of matches. And this is, to me, is probably the matchup that I am most looking forward to, because to me, we've had 2 matches with Iga and Amanda this year. They hadn't played before the Wimbledon final. And then you had a match where Iga was on and Amanda really wasn't at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And US Open, Amanda was on and playing some incredible tennis right up until the final. And Iga, we could tell, wasn't quite right in that quarterfinal. At least I don't think she was. You can disagree with me if you want, if you think you saw something different, if it was completely Amanda taking control of that. So I don't
think Iga played her best the whole tournament, really. And she was struggling with some foot issues.
Yeah. So with that in mind, then, we've not really seen a match. Well, I think it's going to be a lot rarer to see them when they're both at their best. I would love to see that, but that's probably not going to be until much later in the tournament. Or them both kind of more neutral, and particularly for me, like Iga's had to deal with Amanda at her lowest and Amanda at her best, and she's not had to deal with Amanda in kind of her average level. And I do wonder what that matchup looks like if Iga's playing better than she did at the US Open. I think this might be a 3-setter, but this one is so hard to call. Vanch, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, this is the match, because I do think they're going to win their first matches, so they will play each other. And for me, this one is, we haven't seen kind of a normal match between them. So this might be the first time that we actually see them both playing at their sort of 70% level, and then who wins from there. It's going to be interesting to see if Iga can keep the ball out of Amanda's strike zone on the serve, because that is one area where Iga was getting killed at the US Open, was just a lot of kick serves, middle of the box, Amanda stepping in and just Iga having to defend for her life on the forehand. And I don't think and she struggled to find that range and extend points, and when she did, and Amanda would just step in and hit backhand winners. So I do wonder if actually, because the thing about the US Open was that Amanda just needed to get a few games on the board and erase the memory of Wimbledon. And then after that, then she could just play super freely. Whereas here, I think it's going to be like, that's not going to be in the equation at all. And it's not going to be about that. Like, that won't be a narrative anymore. So to me, it's about how well Iga can disrupt. Can she use the higher, heavier balls? Can she defend and make it so that Amanda is having to hit forehands? Because ultimately, you do want her having to hit forehands on the run, and that's how you try to beat her, because that is one area where Iga wasn't able to get the upper hand at the US Open because she wasn't controlling most of the points. And so I wonder on a court like this, if she's going to be able to use her spin and kind of get the ball out of Amanda's strike zone, more so on the forehand. The backhand is going to hold up really well. But if Iga is able to use her elite footwork and control points and put Amanda on the run and make her hit low percentage forehands and go for like down the line shots that aren't there, like that's a recipe that she could use to win this. Whereas like for Amanda, she wants to play shorter points. She wants to, just right off the bat be the one in control. It's all about gaining that control, and not allowing Iga to bully you with her footwork. So I'm very curious how it's going to play out, but I could see a situation where Iga's coming back from a set down and having to figure it out, or maybe Amanda digs really deep, wins the second set in a really physical one in a tie break, and then the third set is just about who. Again, I would lean Iga slightly, but it's very hard to call. Like, it's
interesting.
it's quite close.
Yeah. So it sounds like from what you're saying that the key to this match is going to be how Iga is and what level she brings. Is that fair to summarize from what you're saying?
Yeah, because I actually think Amanda has shown a sort of baseline level now in the last 3, 4, 5 months that you can kind of, it'll be like, I don't think we'll get a no-show like we did at Wimbledon from her end. So whereas I do think Iga, if she's 100% right physically, I do think she has the kind of game that with her footwork she can actually, if she is at 100% and playing to the best of her abilities, then I do think it'll dictate more how the match will go.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the matches with the biggest unknowns is like we talk about Keys being a bit of unknown with her form, but this is like who knows how Iga's going to feel on any given day. And for me, it's the recently any given day, at least during the Asian swing and sort of even during some of the North American swing. I know she won Cincinnati. Something's been a little bit off again, and maybe she's had time to rest and recuperate and start the process again since Wuhan. But I do think she has found herself being knocked back a bit more by people going on the first strike, especially on the return, and having to work her way back into it. I think she can. I think I see a similar situation of like this is going to go 3, maybe even if Andy goes a set up, Iga's going to snatch the second. But I do think that Amanda might, if we look at sort of base average levels, and what Amanda's bringing right now, especially with the confidence that she's got, I'm leaning towards Amanda Anisimova to win this one.
I think that's entirely fair also because, the Iga's form in Beijing and Wuhan, where she went back to kind of not really trusting her patients, and she kind of reverted back to some old habits that she did say she knows what she's doing wrong, but she's kind of very stubborn about it. And so I do wonder if it might be really hard in this one if Amanda's playing lights out.
Being stubborn about it, or just really not having the mental energy to really focus on what she needs to do.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, the Navarro match was strange because she had so many chances, even though she lost at 6-0. She had like game points in like 5 games, game points or break points or deuce for the first 5 games, but it just looked like she just wasn't making enough balls consistently to put herself in those situations, whereas Navarro was just running everything down, and she actually struggled to hit through both Navarro and Paolini in a way that used to be more automatic for her against those type of players.
Yeah,
but I think Amanda's totally different. I mean, Amanda's totally different from those two, so that's why I kind of wonder if Iga will be able to play a little bit more on instinct and shake off those mistakes a bit faster. But
Keys wouldn't be a bad warm-up for her in that situation. I agree. I think playing on instinct, this seems to fit the win for set version of Iga a bit more, and she might be a bit more comfortable with that matchup. So there's all a bit of some buts and maybes, but we're leading in slightly different directions, but wouldn't be surprised if the other came to be. Like Iga beating Amanda would not be a surprise to me at all. And I do like the narrative that you're putting out there. But okay, so we're going slightly different directions there. Let's talk about the other match, Rybakina Keys. What do you, again, you'll say, are you, these two have played before, right?
Yeah, they have. I want to say it's like a 3-3 head-to-head.
Okay.
And I think they recently played in Cincinnati, and Rybakina ended up winning that 6-3 in the third.
Yeah, that ended up being a decent match, I think. That was when Keys was really starting to struggle, and Rybakina was kind of back on the up at that point in the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting matchup there. Again, they're both in theory could have, if things play out as we think they could play out, then Rybakina's just come off a sort of a tough loss, but a competitive one against Anisimova, and Keys is still trying to get the momentum going after losing to Swiatek. Fascinating lineup matchup given sort of the context there then. How do you see the matchup playing out. If it's really close between them anyway, and they both like similar kinds of courts, this could be another really close one, especially if Keys feels like she's got some she's kind of worked her way into things a bit more. Time that horribly.
Yeah.
On my part.
I don't know. This one is a little bit of a crapshoot. It might just go 3 again, and I don't know. Maybe Keys wins it because it's hard to tell. I think I trust Rybakina's base level a little bit more. Obviously, Keys is a bit more unknown, but but to me, I mean, they played twice and they split them. Australian Open went Keys' way, and she won that in a decider. And basically, Rybakina did the exact same to her in Cincy. So I kind of don't know which way to lean.
Yeah, this feels like more of a coin flip, this one.
Yeah, it's like just pick. Yeah, just flip a coin because I really don't know which direction it's going to go. I mean, obviously, Keys, plays a bit heavier on her forehand, but it's also a lot more erratic. Whereas Rybakina, I think, is just more match tough right now. Like, she's just got a lot more miles. She's got a lot more miles on the legs, but she's also a lot more match tough, and she is starting to really come into her own. Like the last 2 sets against Alexandrova, the way she's kind of just been, the form of the Asian swing just got a lot better. Like from her and Tokyo and Ningbo, she started to look like her old self again. So, and she came out of some clutch situations and really earned the qualification. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, maybe I lean slightly towards Rybakina now that I'm thinking about it, but so I'll hesitantly say Elena.
I'll go
based
with
on match toughness.
I'll go the same with you for the same reasons. I think Elena has better form. She's starting to look more like herself, and I don't know whether Keys will look more like herself yet by this point. It's really tough. If Keys had played the Asian swing and got a different set of results, I would be a lot more positive about her right now. But I do think maybe that it's going to be a struggle. So Rybakina beats Keys, and then potentially, most likely, we're going sort of 55-40, 55-45, 60-40 with it. But that then sets up a very interesting group finale. Well, one way or another, in your version of events, it's Iga, Elena, and Amanda and Keys. And in that situation, Iga, it's all up in the air because you could have Iga, Elena, and Amanda all fighting for group qualification.
Right.
Depending on how that goes, because if Iga loses to Elena and Amanda wins against Keys, it's going to come down to.
It's going to come down to sets, and
in my world, if Iga,
I honestly think in a group like this, like I'm really struggling who's going to go. Like if I were to pick one person to go 0-3, I think I'd pick Keys, but I think it's very likely that all 3 of them end up going either 2-1 or 1-2, and that one win could end up being really important. So,
yeah, because in the world that I've got, where like Amanda's on 2 and Iga and Elena on 2, it's a straight, like Keys is out and it's a straight fight between Iga and Elena to get through. So I guess let's go with the one that I think will obviously be the one to watch in terms of like the one that will be the decider will be like probably played second. So let's go with the first one. Amanda Anisimova and Madison Keys, the first All-American clash we're going to talk about here. We're looking at one of the form players against the player that we have the least confidence of their form. How do you see that one matching up?
I think it's going to be unique because, because they haven't played each other more and there's more pressure on Amanda. Maybe she wins, but she loses a set. So maybe she wins it in 3.
We're just saying Amanda's dropping sets in every match in this group.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I have her going 2-1, but like every match is a 3-setter.
Yeah. So she might scrape over the line against Keys. But Keys is going to get...
Yeah, or Keys might just be really over it at that point. And
yeah.
It could, like a quick win would help Amanda in that situation.
I could see that scenario playing out when you put it like that, if Amanda's more nervous.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on which scenario is. If let's say it's my scenario where she's beaten Iga and she's through whatever, I suppose she doesn't need to put that much effort in, actually. So she could just lose to Keys anyway, and it wouldn't matter. I guess she doesn't want to come second, if that's a possibility.
Right. It would be like Coco last year. If you remember, Coco went 2-0. She beat she beat Iga, and then and she won. And then I think the round robin was against Krejcikova, right?
Yes.
So and she ended up losing the Krejcikova, but she was up 2-0 already at that point. And Krejcikova and Iga had gone 3, and like in your situation, that could definitely happen where maybe a matchup thing in Keys is more comfortable with Amanda's ball, having just spent more time together and trained. I'm sure they would have practiced against each other a lot. I'm guessing.
Yeah. So of the 3 matches, then we feel like this is Keys' best opportunity, or would you say that's Aryna to win a match?
Well, the thing is, if Keys goes down 0-2, like I think that could actually like just free her up, and she could just play really well, and maybe she takes out Amanda in that situation, or she wins the set against Amanda, and then. But I think either way, I don't think I'll be picking Keys to the semis. I think it's going to be 2 of the 3 between Iga, Amanda, and Aryna.
I'd agree
and
with
it's going
that.
to come down to sets.
Keys has got the biggest struggle, and the only reason we're saying this is because, again, she's got questions around her match toughness right now.
Right.
So let's say so with this match, Amanda Keys could go either way, may not affect semi-final qualification unless Amanda really loses or really struggles. I'm gonna. You see, I really like the. Do you know what? You've convinced me. I'm going for a Keys win.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it could happen. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going for Amanda, aren't you?
Sure. Yeah.
You don't care at this point.
But actually, I was gonna. I knew there had to be like one surprise in this, and maybe my surprise might be that Aryna might beat Iga. Like I think I know it's gone Iga's way. I know she's won 4 in a row, but like all those matches were still really tight, right? Like it wasn't. It's not been an easy type of. None of them have been straightforward. I mean, maybe Cincinnati was like the most straightforward, but she still had to come back from 3-5 down, and I think Aryna's a little bit more match tough, and maybe it doesn't go Iga's way this time. And that's just law of averages. I don't have any other explanation, but it's just that because Iga's won 4 in a row against such a great player, maybe she doesn't win this one.
Interesting.
But maybe she does enough. Maybe she still does enough to get out of the group, but doesn't ultimately end up winning. I think maybe this is the match I have her losing. Like I think you have her losing to Amanda. I probably will have her losing to Aryna, just because I find it hard that not. I would find it really impressive if Iga went 3-0 in this group. Like considering how they're all capable of such a high peak level, all these 3 players that she would be playing, all the big hitters.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, I guess in your scenario where say Iga just beat Amanda, yeah, maybe. I guess because this one's gonna. I guess here's what I would say. I think Iga's feeling more confident in this matchup now.
Yeah.
Than before. I think that when her back's against the wall, she can produce some absolutely brilliant tennis. And I know that's not always been the case, but like look at even that win against Alexandrova and Seoul, like she showed that she could do that. And it's another big hitter there. She was just, I guess, maybe not sufficiently motivated against Navarro, and Paolini was just playing the match of her life. So I would say, though, in this scenario, it's going to be a bit different against a big hitter, playing a bit more on instinct, against someone that actually she feels like she's getting in the head of, and back against the wall, a bit like last year, had to win to keep herself in it.
Yeah. So in your situation, she's 1-1, right? But in mine, she's 2-0. So maybe that's why, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I would probably end up picking her if it was 1-1.
Yeah, I'd pick Iga in that situation. So in your world, then. Amanda wins 2, so Amanda will go 2-1. Iga would go. Iga could be 2-1.
Right. Yeah.
Aryna beats her, and
I guess Rybakina would go 1-2. Like she'd beat Keys, but she'd lose. Oh no! Actually, Rybakina. Actually, Rybakina would go 2-1 in my group.
Loses to Amanda, it's 2-1. So your scenario, it's super close, and it's going to come down to like who makes it
literally
out.
going to come down to games and like sets.
Are we thinking Iga Keys is going to go straight sets? That's the one I think we're most confident going straight sets, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So in that scenario, Iga makes it out because she would be the only one who wins in straight sets, the whole group, and everyone else has gone 3. And then in that scenario, then it's going to be down to, okay, who makes it out, Amanda or Elena? And I think, does it come down to matchup? Like if Amanda beat Elena?
Yeah, but I think because I have Amanda beating Elena in the end, so I still have her coming through.
Yeah.
But then Iga lost to Elena. So I think maybe in that situation, Amanda would be 1 and Iga would be 2 for me.
Oh, isn't that? Yeah, maybe. Or Iga 1, Amanda 2. It's going to be super close.
Right, yeah.
In my scenario, where Amanda beats Iga and then Iga beats Elena, again, it's going to be, I think we've both got Iga and Amanda going through. It's just a question of whether it's 1 and 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think you maybe have Amanda being 1 and Iga being 2 then?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay. So I might go the other way then, yeah.
Yeah, so Iga 1, Amanda 2 for you.
Right.
Yeah. That's an interesting. Yeah, this is where this group could end up being absolutely brilliant when the scenarios will play out on Wednesday. I'm going to be seated for that one. All right. So let's go to the Steffi Graf group, or Stephanie Graf group, I should say, because they've used her full name. And the first match of that one will be played on Sunday afternoon, a little bit earlier, like an hour earlier. Although having said that, then the clocks, I think that's when clocks will have changed in the US, so probably about the same sort of time for you guys. 8 a.m. start for Vanch, 11 a.m. start for everyone else for the East Coast. The first match, Aryna Sabalenka against Jasmine Paolini. That one's going to be interesting because I think Paolini's beaten everybody in this tournament except Sabalenka. She's just got herself a really kind of like a statement against Swiatek. Finally, she's beaten Sabalenka twice before, but that was a while ago. She and Sabalenka kind of the best 2 players from their age category right now, in terms of being sort of the 26 to 30, 26 to 29 age group. Where do you see this one going, Vanch? Do you see Paolini being able to make some inroads, or is this matchup still going to be too much of a challenge for her?
I see her doing well in this tournament, but maybe not against Aryna. I think maybe this is the match that I feel most confident picking Aryna to win in straights. Yeah. I think this is overall a pretty good group for Sabalenka, even though the Coco matchup is there. Like I would be surprised if she lost to Pegula again. And I would definitely be surprised if she lost to Paolini. So I'm going to go for Aryna in straights against Jasmine.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. So both the top seeds potentially starting their groups off with straight sets wins. Sabalenka starts off. All right. Gauff and Pegula. This one, I feel like, is kind of tough. Like this is a repeat of the Wuhan final, where Gauff won. Maybe not convincingly; it was still straight sets, but Pegula was up in the second, and Gauff had to work out a comeback, and it got a bit messy. That one could have gone 3 very easily. It's a very close head-to-head, 4-3 to Jessica Pegula. Gauff's made some inroads in it, but Pegula knows Jessie knows Coco really, really well in many ways, and is one of the few players that can live with Coco's defense and kind of rally with her. So how do you see this one going, Vanch?
Yeah, I mean, recently Coco's won their last 2 meetings, because also last year the WTA Finals. Although I do think we're going to see a much better version of Jess than we saw last year, because last year Jess was struggling with her knee, and she went 0-3 in the groups, but really didn't look like healthy. And this year she has a lot more momentum on her side, with the Asian swing being a lot more successful and playing 3-setters and losing the tough one against Noskova, but then beating Sabalenka in a match that went her way. So I think it's going to give her a lot of confidence that Sabalenka win in Wuhan, just ending her 19-match win streak and doing that. But the Coco thing is, it's tough because I think the more dirty it gets, maybe I slightly will favor Coco just because she's more used to just, I don't know, just grinding out wins when she's not playing her at her very best, and maybe she just has that little bit of athleticism that Pegula doesn't quite have, as good as she is and as smart as she plays. So I think I might be leaning Coco in this 1 and 3, but I think it'll be a tussle. Like, it'll be an absolute scrap.
Yeah, I could see that. Coco's coming in after beating Jess in Wuhan, and again, another one of 3 players who are coming in on unbeaten runs, along with Anisimova and Rybakina. I think it feels like to me that Gauff's made some inroads in this rivalry, and I think if you look at the season as a whole, despite Coco's ups and downs, I feel like Pegula's downs have been lower than Coco's.
Yeah, I would agree.
And the ups are not quite as high as Coco's. So in that scenario, I am going to have to go with Coco as well to win that one. Which then sets up, well, the match that you are fascinated by, a rematch of the Roland Garros final, Aryna Coco. So why are you so excited for that one?
Well, I think it's the most evidently obvious contrast of styles of any of the matchups amongst all the top players, just because you have, simply put, Sabalenka's, power and improved variety against Coco's court speed and court coverage and defense, and her ability to just sort of frustrate Aryna and make her hit 3 or 4 or 5 extra shots to win points. And so it's going to be, can Aryna hold it together mentally, and can Coco just, put extra balls in play over and over again and make Sabalenka combust and also put her in awkward spots. And so far the answer has been yes in 2 of their last 3 matches, right? In the WTA Finals last year, which was a big match in the semifinals, and then also in the 2 major finals that she's ended up winning. And she leads the head-to-head overall 6-5, and I think she just frustrates Sabalenka more than most players can, just with that style of play. So it's going to be fascinating to see how Aryna deals with it this time. They have been going back and forth though, in these sort of conditions, like indoors and little bit faster, less sun, wind. Like, that does help Sabalenka a lot more, especially if Coco is having one of those off days with her serve, and because she wasn't having an off day with her serve in Roland Garros, and she actually was striking the ball very cleanly in the last 2 sets. And I think this might be a matchup that it's going to depend on how clean Coco is. If Coco is having one of those days where her second serve is just way off and she's throwing in a lot of doubles, like, it could end up being straight sets for Sabalenka. So actually, I think I hesitantly will lean Sabalenka this time. But if they play again later in the tournament and it's a more high stakes match, then I might lean Coco. But in the round robin, I think I might go for Aryna. Okay. But it's tough.
Yeah, it is. I remember I think it was like Aryna's not necessarily been super. No, it's always been Rebecca has always been Aryna's kryptonite at this tournament in the round robin the last couple of years, but she's not in the same group as her, so she'll be relieved about that. I think this Aryna Coco rivalry tends to go backwards and forwards a bit. They usually take it in turns to get wins, and I think it's Aryna's turn to get a win. To be honest, based on that, I think she's going to be coming in pretty good. Obviously, Aryna comes to every match with a good level. You don't know what kind of thing Coco's going to bring, although she does bring her best when she's playing Aryna, or tries to. I think it's Aryna's turn. I think Aryna's winning this one. Don't know if it's going to be 2 or 3, but I guess actually if Aryna's winning, it's probably going to be in 2, because I feel like if it goes 3, things shift back towards Coco, I'd say. But yeah, that would be my take on it. Okay, so Aryna's going through against Coco, winning against Coco, and then she goes 2-0.
I think if Aryna does win, I think we'll see a match kind of like how we saw in Madrid. Well,
Yeah.
it'll still be like hard fought. There'll be some chances for Coco, or maybe the Australian Open semis last year, where it's like straight sets but one tie break, and maybe Aryna's just a little bit better in the tie. I mean, Aryna's just been killer in tie breaks. So
those are exactly the matches I was thinking of. So great minds. Wow. Want to be great mind, and yours. Let's go with the second match then. So this will be the trying not to get eliminated match. So Pegula Paolini, and if Sabalenka has beaten Coco, Paolini's really going to want to make sure she wins this one, otherwise she's going to be out. So talk to me about this Pegula Paolini matchup. How do you see it going, Vanch?
yeah, so I mean, coming into the Billie Jean King Cup match, which was also indoors, Pegula led the head-to-head 5-0, if I'm not mistaken, but a lot of those matches were before Paolini really had this sudden burst of, transformation. So I think actually Paolini likes this matchup a lot more than the head-to-head would suggest, because I saw that Billie Jean King Cup match, and the way Paolini was able to use her speed and just kind of all the way she was able to frustrate Pegula, and she was dealing with her second serve really well, putting Jessie on the back foot, making her defend, just playing really confident, assertive tennis with a lot of variation and coming forward quite a bit. And I think if Jessie doesn't win the match against Coco, it's going to put a lot of pressure on her to win this one. And I don't know if indoor conditions are really her jam. The more I think about her style and sort of when and where she's had her success, and I'm not sure. I think this is the one match that Paolini can't win. Like last year, she beat Rybakina. I think this year I might be picking her to beat Jess. Maybe I'll go 3. I'll go 3 again. But I'll go for Jasmine this time.
Going Jasmine.
Yeah.
So am I. I think that, well, it's interesting because they're both coming off really good wins in their careers. Clearly, that head-to-head doesn't include Billie Jean King Cup. Because Paolini won that.
It should. I don't know why it doesn't, but yeah.
Yeah. Paolini's won the more recent match. She's also been, aside from that Aryna win, which was like huge for Jess, and like it came at the same time as Paolini beat Swiatek, which was a huge win for her, and they both lost to Coco in the end. So how do I see this going? I think Paolini overall has been playing the consistently great tennis, whereas Pegula scrapped her way through and then played amazing against Aryna in the last few months, including the US Open probably as well. So with that in mind, I think, who do I trust to play the better tennis when it matters? Probably Paolini, and that's a bit harsh on Jess. But I think Paolini wins, and I think she keeps her hopes alive, because then in this scenario, we've kind of both followed the same pattern here. We're coming into the final day with Aryna on 2 wins, Coco and Jasmine on a win each, and Jessie on 0.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you have Sabalenka beating Pegula.
I think Pegula's going to have to play like crazy to beat Sabalenka again.
Yeah.
Especially in this form.
Yeah, I just think she needs Sabalenka's level to dip a little bit, and Pegula will have to play just as well as she did in Wuhan. Or even better. And Sabalenka's going to be really motivated, and it's just a matchup.
Yeah.
That I think will 9 times out of 10 go for Aryna. So
Actually, no, in this scenario, I think Pegula's out. Pegula loses to Paolini and she's out, so...
Yeah. Maybe that changes things motivationally for Aryna. Like, I mean, last year she also had the same situation as Coco, where she was 2-0, but then... But Rybakina is a much more tougher matchup, just generally for her.
Yeah.
Than Jess has been.
And if she's seeing the chaos that's going over on the other group, she's got no idea who she's going to be playing in. She's got no idea if she's playing Iga, Amanda, or Elena. And she wants to probably finish first because she wants to play the more out of form of the 3 that make it out.
Yeah, so I think I might have Sabalenka going 3-0. I think so. I think she comes out of this group 3-0. To me, that was always the more likely. Like just based on how the group stuck out, I thought if one of Iga or Aryna is going to come out of their group undefeated, I think it would be Aryna.
Yeah.
Based on how the group shook out, like I do think Iga's group is tougher for her than Aryna's group is tougher for like the three players. Obviously, the Coco is the toughest matchup. Like that's the one that you could say, okay, wait, maybe, but
yeah. And then we get to Coco Gauff against Jasmine Paolini, which, if our prediction for this group shakes out, is going to be a winner takes all match. Winner goes to the semi-finals.
Yeah, I think the winner is going to win. The winner is going to be in the semis. So this is basically going to be a quarterfinal.
Yeah. And so this is interesting because Coco's been struggling with Jasmine all year up until the semi-final in Wuhan, where she managed to flip the script and she played great. And yeah, it's now 3-3 in their head-to-head. This one's really going to depend on what kind of tennis they're both playing, really. It's going to be a real battle, that's for sure. This is going 3 again, isn't it, Vansh?
I think so, but except this time I'm leaning Coco.
Okay.
I think she found something in Wuhan in terms of how to play Jasmine a lot smarter. And I think she's just playing with a lot more. I don't think she'll put too much pressure on herself, Coco. I think she treats this part of the year like a warm-up for the Australian Open. And she's been making some changes in her game. And even though like it's a big title and she has to defend it, I don't see that part of it playing into her psyche as much, if that makes sense. And Jasmine, like I think this will be a closer than their Wuhan match. But I just have a better feeling about Coco this time.
Okay. Yeah, I think on the whole I do too. I've got the sense that Jasmine may have, I don't know, maybe run. I don't know. Ningbo was difficult to tell, but I hope it wasn't a sign that she was running out of gas. They're both having great Asian swings.
Yeah.
I think this is a court Coco likes. And the other matches they've played, Coco's not necessarily been in a great place, or Jasmine's been in a really good one. And maybe you're right on more neutral ground. And if things are more coming up Coco, then things are going to go Coco's way. So yeah, I'm probably going to agree with you, Coco, in 3. But I don't think I would be that surprised if Paolini made the semis. I think if we're going to...
I wouldn't either.
I think she and Rebecca are in that category of they might just miss out, but wouldn't be surprised if they found a way in.
Yeah.
At all.
I lean Coco to win this match, but not by much. Like maybe 55-45. Like I do think it's close.
So let's talk about the permutations then. So we've got Aryna and Coco definitely coming first and second. We don't know who's going to come first and second out of Iga and Amanda in the other group.
Yeah.
And
well, I think you had Amanda second, or you had Amanda first, and
I had Amanda first.
Like we swapped. Yeah. We flipped orders. So I think I have one. One being Iga and 2 being Amanda.
So let's do the Vanch version first. Aryna Iga in the semis. 2 years after the last time they played in the semis.
Man, we did all of this and we still ended up with the top 4 in the semis. Wow.
Well, yeah, but that's more based on matchup and ranking, isn't it?
Yeah. So I guess in this version I have Aryna number 1, and she would be playing Amanda. So it would be Aryna Amanda rematch from Wimbledon US Open. This is interesting, right? Like Sabalenka played a really smart match at the US Open because it was actually
your semi-final.
Yeah, semi-final between Aryna and Amanda, right?
So you think Amanda's coming second in your group?
Yes. I think I had Iga 1 and Amanda 2, and you have it the other way. You have Amanda 1 and Iga 2.
I'm getting this mixed up. Yes, you're right. Yeah. So yeah.
So 2 plays 1, right? 2 plays 1 and 2 plays 1. So
yeah. All right, we'll do yours first. So yeah, Aryna Amanda, US Open. Well, US Open rematch, Wimbledon rematch in the semi-final.
I am just so desperate for an Iga Aryna match. We just haven't had it in so long. It's kind of it's kind of influencing. I mean, like, how cool would it be to have the two best players play each other in the WTA finals?
Yeah. But would you rather have it in the semi-finals or the final?
I mean, either one, honestly. But
okay. So in your world, let's go with Vanch's world first. It's Iga Aryna Amanda, semi-final 1, semi-final 2, Iga Coco.
Iga Coco, yes.
Who's in the final from those two matches?
I don't even know if it's worth analyzing it that much, but I think I'd stick with Aryna for the semis against Amanda.
Okay.
And then the Coco Iga one is really interesting because of the recent success that Coco has found in the rivalry, right? And having won 3 in a row and been more confident in terms of beating Iga at her own game and the United Cup match, for example. And it just puts a lot more doubts. And the way Iga's kind of struggled against Coco this year, Navarro, Jasmine, like kind of players that I think the Wim Facet style of play, she's going to be better against the bigger hitters and slightly worse against the more all-round counterpuncher, gritty type players. So I do wonder if we see that play out just again one more time before Iga works on it again in the offseason. I'm really torn about the Iga Coco thing because I do think it's a really close rivalry now all of a sudden after Cincinnati, they're basically at 4-4 and Iga started out 7-0. So it's going to go back and forth quite a bit, and I do think Iga will get her wins next year over Coco. But I think this time I'll go with Coco. So I'll have a rematch of the round robin between Sabalenka and Gauff.
In the final?
In the final, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I find it hard to argue with it. I mean, part of me is like, but I think it might be Amanda's turn to beat Aryna. But I think if Amanda really battles her way through the group and Aryna doesn't, I think Amanda might run out of gas and Aryna will get it done in 3. That would be how I would see it.
Part of my logic was also that I think Amanda was going to have really difficult matches in my scenario. So I did also wonder physically if she would be able to last versus Sabalenka had going 3-0 and just.
Yeah. I've got that as well. Yeah, I do wonder about that. And I look at that head-to-head though, like that's such a good rivalry. And like if Amanda is motivated, if Aryna has a tougher time, I will probably rethink everything and lean more towards Amanda. It's going to depend on how it is at the time, but like based on the scenarios that we have playing out in our heads, which invariably in tennis does not, we're going to go with that. And then I agree with your analysis of Iga Coco, and especially since Coco beat Iga on this court last year. So, like, I feel like this is more Coco's domain than Iga's. I'm going to be controversial though. If the Vanch scenario plays out, I think Coco beats Aryna in the final.
Oh, I was just going to go there. I was going to say that if they played in a higher stakes semifinal or final, I would actually back Coco more mentally than Aryna.
Yeah.
So I actually was going to change it. Like I think Sabalenka will beat Coco in the groups, but then Coco will avenge that in the final.
So in the Vanch Vermani world of things, Coco Gauff wins the WTA Finals.
Yeah, she's the defending champion and she defends.
Yeah, stays at number 3, stays at the 3rd out of the 3, nipping at their heels. Iga and Aryna. Yeah, I think Coco's got a good chance of it. Like that Wuhan win's going to boost her confidence by a lot, and she's going to come into it really well. Okay, my scenario: Iga Aryna, or Aryna Iga, I should say, in the first semi-final. Woof. Okay. This is going to be controversial. I think Iga wins that one.
Okay.
I think Iga wins it.
I don't know if it's that controversial.
She will, because it's her turn. They do tend to go back and forth. She's going to want to avenge Roland Garros. She's going to be motivated. She's going to find her best. And Aryna, will still bring a good level, but maybe because it's not super fast, that's going to equalize things a bit, and she can't necessarily overwhelm Iga in the same way as she may have done it on a faster court. But it's going to be a heck of a fight. It's going to go 3. It's going to be one of the matches of the year, probably. And but I will have Iga beating Aryna to take her place in the final against either Amanda Anisimova or Coco Gauff. Oh my word, that one! I just realised I've got to predict that one. Do you know what? I'm going with Amanda. I'm going to go with Amanda. I think she'll probably hit. She's probably one of the few players who can hit through Coco. I think Coco's defense is amazing and will keep her in points. Might even win her a set. It's going to be very up and down. It's going to be messy. It's going to be hot and cold from both. I guess then in that scenario, Gauff tends to kind of clutch it out. But I think Amanda will be on. No, I trust Amanda slightly more right now. I trust Amanda slightly more to kind of pull through and get there. So I'm going for an Iga Swiatek, Amanda Anisimova final in a repeat of the round robin from the other group.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is interesting. Which then leads us to an interesting conclusion there. It's interesting also that it's 1-2 in the Gauff Anisimova head-to-head.
Yeah.
So then, by that logic, round robin results always reverse.
Well, not always, but yeah, I think 50 I think more often than not they do, yeah.
And the last few years, Sabalenka has lost the eventual champion. Iga would tick both those boxes. I think she'd be out for revenge. Amanda will be definitely out of gas by that point.
Right.
And I am going to...
And it's a final, and Iga is killer in finals.
Yeah, Iga's killer in finals. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to make it 5 different winners from the Talking Tennis team because John has Anisimova winning it. No, it's not. It's still 4. Brenna has Iga winning it. Carsten has Aryna. You have Coco. I'm going to join Brenna and say Iga Swiatek is going to win the WTA Finals by the skin of her teeth somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would be her first title indoors on a hard court?
Probably, yeah. But she won her first title on grass, so why not add to the collection? The win for set upside down world.
Hey, I mean, it would track with what we've been seeing this year, right? Wimbledon, Cincinnati, and now this. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. This is what's... Although, okay, I'm going to say this, though. I could see a scenario where if Elena Rybakina got out of the group instead of either Iga or Aryna, she wins it.
Yeah, that would be a long time coming for her. She hasn't won a big title since Rome 2023.
Yeah. That she would be my wild card pick as like, if she gets out the group, I think she's winning it.
Yeah. So would we say that Keys is like the least likely to win it just because like we don't know where her state is in terms of...
Keys or Pegula? Because we had Pegula losing all her matches.
Yeah, that's true.
Which might be harsh on Jess.
I wonder if I'm underrating Pegula now by making her go 0-3. But
I'm literally thinking the same thing.
But I think just with the way this field is, like you can't really go wrong. It's such a strong field, and like,
yeah, we're just basically on matchups and how the year's gone, and like what's been like when they played each other this year, and how up and down things are. And look, if it could, you're right. It could be anyone could show up with amazing form and win it. Like Pegula, damn well near 2023.
Pegula resume will look so crazy though because she went 0-3 in 2022. She made the final in 23. Went 4-0 before losing to Iga, right? Like she went 3-0 in her group.
Yeah.
So she's gonna go 0-3, 3-0, 0-3, 0-3. Like it's just.
Oh, in that scenario, then Pegula if Pegula then does that again in 2025, then she beats Aryna, Coco, and Jasmine. Played, I don't know, one of Iga or Amanda or Elena, wins that.
That would be crazy.
And then by that point, I'm like, yeah, bring it on. Pegula's gonna win it. Like heck, Paolini winning it wouldn't surprise me if her trajectory keeps going the way it does.
Right. I mean, she has kind of proven herself now in most matchups. It's just the Aryna matchup that I think is just it seems like the hardest for her. But
like if Paolini got through that group instead of Coco, then yeah, that would be interesting.
Before I would have said Iga because Iga was 6-0 against her, and I thought Jasmine played really well in the Cincinnati final, but Iga just played a little bit better. So
yeah,
it's fascinating.
It's going to be interesting here. Like it's trying to predict this is fun, but highly likely to be very wrong, especially given we've got such a variance of results.
Yeah.
And like, I'm interested to know, so like, we've got the poll up, and like Aryna, Iga, Coco, Amanda. That's obviously, like, I know there's other, but I include Amanda as one of the joint ones. It's just a shame you can't have more than 4 choices. Would love to know from anyone in the comments watching this back or listening to this back on the podcast. Are you predicting Aryna or Jasmine or Jessica or even Madison to win the WTA Finals? Like, of those, Aryna feels like the most likely, but like, there must be people out there who think one of them's going to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how like this year, like no one has won more than 4 titles on the WTA. Like Sabalenka has 4, and Iga has 3, and no one has really like truly dominated. It feels like, even though Aryna probably, like, you know, has been the most consistent, of course, and made the most finals and everything. But in terms of like actually winning big titles, this is one of those seasons where like a lot of players are splitting them. You know, like you have Amanda winning 2 1000s, you have Iga winning Wimbledon and Cincinnati, you have Aryna winning, you know, 2 1000s and a major, and it's 4 different slam winners. It's we've got a lot of diversity at the top.
Yeah, a lot of diversity. Yeah, I agree. Speaking of the top, I just realised, if my scenario plays out and Iga wins, that's going to make the battle for number 1 fascinating going into the early part of 26.
Yeah,
because that's going to really close the gap. Aryna's still going to finish the year number 1.
Managed to hold on to the number 1 for a full year too.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that makes it impressive. And now you both have Iga and Aryna both at 2-year and number 1s. Iga in 2022 to 23, and then last couple of years Aryna.
Yeah.
Of course, Aryna still has a ways to go though to catch Iga's 125 weeks. I think Sabalenka must be at around 60 or something now, but it does make it really exciting. Like if Iga can win this and close the gap, we know she didn't have a good clay season. So by her standards, obviously. So that means she can pick up a lot of more points in the first half of next year and maybe make a push again.
And then, that makes the clay season really, really interesting.
Right.
That could be a lot of fun. All right, there's a lot. I think my last point before finishing off, because dawned on me, is this, because we've been looking at this. I'm going to put out this weird stat, because I think one of the reasons I haven't picked Amanda Anisimova to win it is maybe in the scenarios we've played out, we see her running out of gas because she's played too many 3-setters. And I don't think we've really analysed the Anisimova Coco matchup that I have in the semis, actually, if that's how it plays out. But I think if, say, Amanda finds things a bit easier, I think I might shift my prediction mid-tournament to her winning it and agree with John, which would be a rarity. But I would say that, I do have probably the most confidence in her top-level ability if she finds it. And I will say this one other quirk of, like, statistical quirk. The last 2 WTA finals have been won by the Beijing champion. Gauff in 24, Swiatek in 23. That pattern can't last forever, but it's worth noting.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's just a coincidence, but yeah, could be.
Yeah. Producer Gauff was not unbeaten in 2024. She
lost to Krejcikova in the 3rd match after going 2-0 though. But yeah.
And Iga was unbeaten in 2023.
Yes.
So, right, I think we'll wrap that up. This was a long one. Garcia winning in 2022 in a really tough one. Had she not beaten Daria Kasatkina in the round robin, it probably wouldn't have been hers. Right, so we'll wrap it up there. Vanch, thank you so much for playing tennis predictions.
This was really tough though in terms of trying to come up with it. But I don't think you can go wrong with any of these winners, to be honest.
There's so many coin flip matches in this mix. Like, the hardest one to predict is Aryna, is Rebecca Keys, but like Pegula Paolini, Sabalenka Gauff's tough, Swiatek Anisimova, like so many matches that are so hard to predict the outcome of. It's going to depend on how things are on the day.
Yeah, for sure. I think the part I'm also very excited about is I want to see the Amanda Keys match, and I want to see Amanda and Elena. Just that they haven't played each other ever is very fascinating to me. And the fact that we get 2 new matchups in the same group, like that's very rare.
That's one of the benefits of the WTA Finals, is you make sure that the top players at any point usually play each other at least once, because they're going to be there. So it's more or less guaranteed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one plays out and see what we learn from that, because the WTA Finals is also a bit odd, because we love very few people actually play their best at this tournament.
It's hard to, yeah.
Right. I think we wrap it there. Thank you so many to all of you who've joined and joined in. Vanch, thanks for coming on. I will let you go, because we do have a watch along for Sinner and Shelton underway, and you can come and join the team for that. There will probably be WTA Finals watch alongs happening as and when possible, depending on who's available. But we are the place to be if you want to follow along with the WTA Finals and react to all that is going on. So please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will be back on Sunday for a review of the WTA Finals, and let's see how things played out. Who will win? Would it be Aryna Sabalenka winning her first WTA Finals title, Coco Gauff defending, Iga Swiatek taking her second, Amanda Anisimova continuing her great form and the trend of Beijing champions winning it and getting her first, and then Rybakina finally getting it, Jessica Pegula surprising everyone and getting it, Madison Keys bookending her year with a big trophy, or Jasmine Paolini surprising everybody. Find out next week. I'll see you then. In the meantime, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.